Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Boomer Broads. I'm kind of excited about this show.
This is going to be
for a variety of reasons. And you don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to tell you in a moment.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too because normally, we talk about
to
gibberish.
each other.
No, we talk about gibberish as a rule, not very deep or
Let's
heavy
hope it's
things.
not gibberish today.
I said normally we do, and today I think it's going to be really something different. It's not going to be talking about Charlie Sheen. Let's start with that.
I also think,
thank heavens.
Although maybe she can help us tell us what's going to happen with that moron. But anyway,
No.
I think it's something that I think our audience has an interest in this. Anyway,
I think the boomer demographic has an interest in this whole field. So why don't you get to it without all the teasing?
we're going to be talking with a psychic and a mediumist. Is that correct? Medium? A medium.
Why would you say
A
mediumist, I wonder?
Well, because I saw that in here and I thought it was an interesting word, and I just thought I'd throw it out there.
It was a typo, I think, but all right.
Our guest is Gail Kirk. She happens to be from the Boston area. And Janet, in particular, has had an interest in having a reading done, because I think a member of your family just did it. It was actually very interesting. But Gail is from the Boston area, and we'll introduce you to her in a second, but first we're going to give you a little more information.
Gail is, as Amory said, a psychic and a medium, and we're going to turn to Gail now because I think it's important to differentiate between the two, because I, as a layperson, really didn't know. To me, a psychic and a medium is the same thing, but they're not. Why don't you tell us a little bit?
Should I also just read that you're a clairvoyant?
Please, thank you.
Which means you see. She's clairaudient, which means she hears, audient. Clairsentient, she feels. Claircentrist, detects sense. Clairgustant, tastes, and intuitive, knows. That is a lot of stuff. A lot
I'm
of
overwhelmed.
By myself.
By yourself. By your own
I need a
credentials.
nap already. Boomers need naps sometimes.
Oh, yes,
really?
we do. Many nap during our show,
I'm
Gail.
waking up at 5 and sleeping at 1:30.
We hear you.
Oh, yeah.
We hear you.
That's good. That's when it must all happen for you, I'm sensing. Or at least you could say that. But back to my original question before, the difference between
I
a
knew
psychic
you were going
and...
to ask that,
Yes.
Janet.
You've used that before. Yeah.
But seriously, a psychic is someone who connects with the energy of a person, place, or thing. So I'm reading maybe your energy or the energy of your children, or looking into the future or the past, and helping you with information regarding that. I'm also connecting with spirit guides and loved ones who've passed over. So as a medium, I'm giving you messages from your loved ones, meaning family and friends, and even pets who've passed on.
Oh. How do you know? How can you find an honorable? I mean, how do you know if they're just like making it up?
Right.
Or it's for real?
Well, you'll know, first of all, if it's for real because it will make sense to you. And you won't have to give a lot of information, although you do want to work with the psychic and not be sitting back saying prove it or being too skeptical. But you also can go to someone who has been referred to you by someone else. And there are also lists out there. For example, I'm on a list called bestpsychicdirectory.com, and the person who has created that website has done it in such a way that people put testimonials on there that are honest, that I have no control over.
And speaking of sort of how did you know and how do people know, my question really is how did you know? There's
Because
something in your bio that says one day you realized that you had these instincts.
Right.
What was it? What was that first moment where you say, I have something special?
Well, really wasn't until I got to be older and even learned about the psychic abilities more and started doubting what it was I was doing for work. I had been in the corporate field for a long time and kept changing jobs every 2.5 years and wasn't really happy. So at 38, I said, Gail, what do you really want to do with your life, and what makes you happy? And I just got very serious with myself, and I said, well, my fascination has always been the psychic and mediumship and metaphysical world. And I took a week's vacation, and I went to like this Harry Potter place, and I took classes from morning till night in learning how to do this.
So can you get weird?
You imagine?
Can you get weird and psychic with Janet?
Sure,
Can
I'd
you
really
relate
like
it?
to.
Tell me what I
let
need
me
to
just
tell you.
explain, because this will help not only you guys but the people listening. What I like to have people know, well, first of all, I love if they can read my website, because then they'll know really what to expect and how to
And
prepare.
we'll be putting that up.
Yep.
And my
you-
philosophy.
yeah.
But basically, for today's purposes, I like people to either have a question in mind regarding their own personal life that they would like to sincerely get guidance on or direction on, and then just be upfront. Briefly describe what's happening so I can tune into the
We can do
people
that.
and
Yep.
situations
Mhm.
regarding that. For me, it's just information, and it may be a first name, and I don't know always where to place it because I don't know your people and you and your families. You have to help me by saying mostly just yes, no, or I'm not
Well,
sure
okay.
if the
We'll
information
tell
is
you.
making sense.
Yeah.
But I don't look for any more than that.
All right. Actually, the reason you're here stems from my situation.
Terrific.
My sister-in-law Lois went to a medium or a psychic, a few years back, who said to her that at the age of 62, which would be 3 years later, she would have great impact on a loved one. Pretty safe prediction. At the age of 62, my brother, her husband, had severe kidney issues and needed a kidney transplant. Turns out they are a match, which is highly unusual with a married couple and not a genetic match. And she is donating her kidney to my brother in a matter of a couple of weeks.
And we wanted to say congratulations also.
Oh my
on how
God, yes.
amazingly,
It's
overwhelmingly
unbelievable.
happy we are for the two of them.
Overwhelming is a good
Brings
word
tears to
for
my
it.
eyes when I
It
talk
is-
about
it is
And
very-
thanks to them for letting us share the story. too.
Yes. And so that led to I said that medium was on the money.
Yes.
I mean, she predicted at the age of 62 you would impact boy, are you going to impact a loved one in a big way. But of course I'm worried.
Yes.
And I am, very nervous about it. I have great faith in that everything will be great, but I'm nervous, and I wondered if you had a sense of how things, that things
Will
would
go.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand that that's a great concern to you, Janet, being this is your sister.
This is my sister-in-law giving to my brother.
Okay. That is freaky, isn't it?
Isn't that freaky?
And you know what? That's not just.
Is that psychic
I was
talk,
gonna
by the
say,
way? Isn't that freaky?
that's not just something that happened. That is something that gets
Meant to
planned
be.
in the greater scheme of things.
That's what I think.
We have a blueprint when we come to life that we sort of follow, and certain things we want to have happen and experience and learn and grow from and teach from. Not all pleasant, but things that enrich us and enrich our lives and other people's lives. And I feel this was something that was set up even before that they came in, that I will be your partner in more than one way. As far as health concerns go regarding that issue and how is that going to work out, I always say that I first have to say I'm not a doctor and I can't diagnose and prescribe because it's not ethical for me to do that. But I always like to go there anyways because I do get stuff from spirit and intuitively regarding health concerns. And what I am getting regarding that is it is a match, it is going to be all right, but that there will be some I'll call it minor complications regarding getting it just right or getting it smooth and worked out. It's not going to be where you're going to go, oh good, it's done and then it's over and with and that's all off our plate. But don't overly freak out when you have to go back to the doctors, or she does or he does, and things seem like they may not be taking it or they're not going well. It is going to be all right, and just
Good.
have the faith and trust in that because
So there'll be some bumps in the road, but
Yes.
ultimately
Yes.
it'll be okay.
yes,
That's very comforting.
it is comforting.
Good.
So you want to do? We're going to do a medium
Sure.
reading.
And that's with you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to stay close to me though, so that not so much
And
because
you're
of
not
the reading,
supposed to tell her, I think, right?
Right.
but I wanted to make sure that you're still in the camera
Yeah.
angle.
Well,
So
I
I'm
don't
not
need to hold
telling
your
you?
hand, but because I'm a little
Please
nervous
do.
doing
Please
this
do.
on television.
Of course, please.
I just want to ask you to think of the person that you
Okay.
would love to hear from, and just tell them in your mind that you love them and miss them and that you'd really like to hear from them again. And even as I'm talking, I'm hearing Father repeated over and over in my head. Is your dad
You're
on the
freaking
other
me
side?
out.
Your dad on the other side,
Yes.
please? Okay. Lots and lots of love to
Oh,
hear from your
somebody's
dad.
gonna have to get me a
He's
Kleenex.
telling me that you're his little girl, although I feel that there's the number 2 coming up. Are there 2 of you, 2 children in the family?
Actually, 4 of us.
But 2 girls or
2
2
girls, 2
okay.
girls, 2 boys.
Because he's not wanting to exclude the other sister, is what he's trying to say to
That
me.
would sound like him.
Even though you're very special, and you certainly are, he doesn't want to play any favorites from the other sides. And he said, and the boys too, and Mom, everybody, you know, send the love. Also, as I connect with your dad's energy, I feel that he passed from a sickness that was longer term, and that the throat was affected, and I'm getting a very dry feeling in my mouth. Do you know if that was true for him prior to his
I
passing?
don't. I think, I mean, he was 98, and I thought he passed from old age, basically.
But did he not stop speaking for a long time? He was
At the
unable to
end, the
speak.
last year,
Okay.
he didn't speak anymore.
And his throat feels very dry to me.
I
That
don't
would make
remember.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, I used to bring him coffee milkshakes at
Okay.
the nursing home.
This is a funny thing that he's letting me know, that he liked to have his toes free at the end of the blanket. He didn't like his toes.
I
you
never
know,
slept in the same bed with him, so honestly, I don't
no, but
know.
when he was in the hospital, do you know?
I don't remember. It
That
wasn't.
could
It
be
was
an
a nursing
interesting show, though.
Yeah.
Let's think about that for the
You
future.
know how when the blanket's pulled too tight?
Yes.
And sort of,
He didn't
hated
like that.
I hate that too, by the way.
He's
Maybe
letting
he's
me-
talking about me.
But these
Just
are quirks.
FYI.
These are quirks about his personality, and he's also pointing out his teeth for me. So something about his dentures were a hassle or a problem or didn't fit.
He was quite outspoken about what he did and didn't like when he could speak, so it wouldn't surprise me that all of this had been.
And he gives me an annoyed feeling about it.
Yeah, he was
He would
easily
be
annoyed.
Mhm.
He was easily
Passed
annoyed.
on from generation
It's
to
fascinating,
generation,
and I
I
don't mean
might
to
add.
cut you off because I would love to sit here all afternoon, but we're way over time for sure.
Last
I
thing,
don't-
there's
yeah.
a doggy
Last-
in spirit too.
My doggies.
I have a curly-haired dog in
Yeah,
spirit.
that
Chino
would be my
cappuccino.
Oh, sweet. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. That was
Job
very
well
actually
done.
very interesting.
The dad was intense.
Very
Right off the bat.
intense, and I'm in the middle of working. My father was a very brilliant photographer. Had an extensive collection, photographic.
Lucien Eigner.
Lucien Eigner. We've talked about his exhibit often, and I actually just blogged, and hopefully somebody will post my blog with a lot of information.
He's proud of what you're doing with that, and he's showing me black and white, a big
Yeah,
black,
a lot of
and
black
white
and white photos.
photograph in
A lot of
particular.
them.
And there's one that I'm seeing.
70,000 of them, by the way.
Well, I'm seeing one of him, and he's looking off into the distance, and I think he's looking out of out a window from inside a building.
Actually, from a curtain, and Byron, one of our producers, would know the photo. Looking through the photo, he was a.
There's a reflective picture of him looking, and
Not so much reflective, but he is peeking around the curtain
Okay.
because he was 5 feet tall with a small camera in the 20s, and he scooted around current events at the time. Because I'm trying to establish his place in history, and he really has a place in photographic
Yes, he
history.
does.
So, listen, we'll keep you posted. We'll bring you back when I make a little progress on
Thank
that.
you, Henry.
Fascinating.
Thank you,
Thank
Janet.
you, Gail.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
to Gail Kirk and to all of you. We'll post all the pertinent information shortly as
Thanks
you
to
watch
our
the show.
producers. Thanks to Byron for setting this
Ronnie,
up,
this
and
was
Carly's
great.
for their help.
And
Beth, thank you very much. And you can see we have a new studio set up today. And we'll post Gail's contact information, so anybody that wants to get in touch with Gail, I believe you can also do this by remote control,
oh
too.
yeah, on Skype and telephone.
Great.
great. And yay to my brother and sister-in-law. Everything's going to be great.
And we now know, with Gail's help, that you all are going to have a fabulous week. See you next week.